need to embrace the lonely chapter if you want to grow. I've definitely spent a lot of time in the lonely chapter, especially in my late teenage years, growing out of big friendship groups, realizing that you're not going to grow as long as you stay in these sort of groups, taking time away for yourself to grow. And in the UK especially, it is so easy to outgrow people. I can say that from experience, because when you're hanging around in big groups and people are drinking and smoking and taking drugs, it's very easy to outgrow those sort of people. When you start to get sober, when you start to get a job, when you start seeing life from a clear point of view. And it's true that in the UK that there is this sort of tall poppy syndrome. Anyone that's doing better than other people, they cut them down. It is a sort of negative mindset. I've seen this talked about by other UK people. Countries like America, they're a lot more positive. But I've realised that you need to be fine being lonely. I've seen this happen with people where they're not fine with being lonely. They can't be alone. So they always choose to go back to old friendship groups, even though they know that they're destructive or toxic. They think, well, I'd rather have them than be alone. And it speaks to me so much as well, because I felt so many times that I want to do this too. I want to go back to my old friends. I want things to do. And it's such an allure as well to go back to it, but there's nothing good for you there. You need to cultivate new friendships. You want to keep in touch with some people from your childhood, fine, but if you're going back to a toxic friendship group, it's not worth it. You need to realize that being lonely has its advantages too. I've been blessed with a partner, but I've also realized that there's times when I need to be alone, and I need to be happy to be alone. And a good example of this as well is that I've tried to be part of groups along the way, you know, football teams. I never went to university, so I never had a big university friends group. I left school quite early. I left at 16, I got an apprenticeship, so I went straight into a sort of work environment, which was very good for me because it allowed me to mature, it allowed me to get away from kind of people my age and speak to people who are older and get my life on the right track. That definitely helped me. And university is a perfect example, because you think, oh, I missed out on uni, I would have loved the university, it would have been freedom, it would have been cool, I would have had friends, but you realise it's not what it's cracked up to be. Imagine you go to a university up north and you're with a load of wasters and you're wasting your life away just because it's cool and just because you're away from home. And when you realise the power of environment too, and it's also like the football team example. I joined the team about 6 months ago because I thought, they scouted me. You know what? It's been a few years since I've played for a team, but it made me realise every single time I've played for a Sunday League team, it's always gone pear-shaped, because it's been such an obligation. You feel so trapped, like, oh, I've got to play twice a week, I've got to get into the team, I've got to get on well with all of these people. It becomes such a pressure. And when I started to play Footy Addicts, which was an app, I started playing that 2 years ago, because I was really looking to just play casual football. That was huge, because it meant that football was on my terms. It meant that I could play whenever I liked. If I felt like playing football that day, if I needed a bit of exercise, if I needed a day off from the gym to fit my gym routine, I could literally just play Footy Addicts. But it's such a metaphor for life as well, is that you can do things on your own terms. Doesn't mean never working with people, but it means you don't need to be a part of a big group. You can do things yourself. You don't need to find enjoyment just with other people and fit into the group standards just to have fun. You can be picky about what you want and need in your life. You can take things that value you. And another interesting thing as well is that about the point of going back to old friends groups and maybe going back to potentially toxic people, is you don't know what they've been saying about you. I've had this thought as well, is that all of my school friends, childhood friends, people that I've known before, you know, I shifted away from those people. Do you think those people are going to be happy for you? Maybe some are. Maybe you're being too harsh, maybe that's a little bit of paranoia, but do you think every single person is going to be happy for you? And then what, you just come back into their life and everything's hunky-dory and happy? No, it doesn't. Life doesn't work like that. You're going to see a lot of jealousy, and you're going to have a lot of fake friends, because you think, oh yeah, I'm reconnecting with this person from my childhood. Yeah, we used to be friends 10 years ago. Yeah, now we've reconnected. You're protecting yourself from those sort of situations where someone could backstab you. I'm not saying that don't ever reconnect, no, but you almost protect yourself because those sort of dynamics can be dangerous. So embrace the lonely chapter. Pick the relationships that actually benefit you. You know, a good partner, maybe a pet, couple good friends, but keeping your circle small, not having a big cluttered friends group with loads of people over here and they're not benefiting your life.